Hey guys, YouTube, Twitch, and everyone else, Dark Emote here. When the Season 12 closed beta in DH's Mad Lab, we've got a Enchant Exploding Arrow Sorceress using Demon Machine. Now, you might be asking, what is so special? Well, Exploding Arrow is better this season, and on top of that, Enchant now applies percent elemental damage to the attacks properly. So now the Sorc's actually hitting insanely hard with Enchant again, both cold and fire Enchant, and you can even use the new bolts and arrows and things of that nature. Particularly, Bannerlord's Call would actually be amazing on this if you had the right eruptions. I could show it. This is a new item. I should show that just for reference. But yeah, we got some really cool things going on in Season 12 that make this build pop really hard. Really reviving the power of Sorceress Enchant builds. Very, very awesome stuff. New season starts November 28th, 10 a.m. ET. So be there or be square. Hopefully, my videos this season, like always, inspire you on some awesome builds. Also, remember to check out all of my builds from Season 10 and onwards on my YouTube, which we have like literally almost 30 of them. At this point, there'll probably be more with all these Season 12 ones. And they're all pretty updated. Most of them are, there's very small changes, if none at all, that would be made based on changes that have been made to any of those builds. And of course, there's maybe alternative Mercenary setups and some other fun stuff, but for the most part, all these builds are crushing face. So hopefully, all these builds inspire you for different ideas and get you ready for the next season. This is another late game mini guide and demo. The Fire Enchantress Exploding Arrow Sorceress. We are this is a very weird looking Amazon. Definitely more exotic looking for sure. We'll of course show you how all this stuff works, stats, skills, mercenary gear, and then we'll show off some map demos in tier 3s so you guys can understand just how powerful this can get. This is a surprisingly super powerful build, so I'm going to show how all this stuff is working. Let's go. Dang, got some people in the Twitch chat there. Looks like we might have a raid. That's pretty cool. Anyway, let's get it going. We got enough strength wear gear. We've got the Dex Master.
I'll put that to good use.
We got the Dex, pretty good. I think with Mercenary Conviction that attack rating should be fun. We just dump the rest of the points into energy after we get enough Dex to wear the gear as well. So that's really cool. Honestly, probably a little too much Dex, but it's mostly from the gear itself, which we'll go over. So we didn't actually put any points into that really. And then you just max energy. I don't think we put any points into it at all, actually. If you can get your res max, it's really good. Disclaimer, you cannot get corruptions in beta if you guys are not aware. So these builds are a little scuffed, particularly in regards to defenses. So defenses are pretty easy to solve. You know, mana per kill, life per kill, you know, more life leech, mana leech, all kinds of things, particularly with pierce corruptions on this build. You can fix a lot of things. Pierce corruptions mean you could probably use way more optimal items. You know, I could use Rising Sun instead of Cat's Eye. You know, I can do a lot of different things. I could use, you know, Silk Weaves possibly for mana per kill instead of Treads of Thawne. And then, of course, Bannerlord's Call, which is 20 faster cast rate, which is really nice for getting maybe even the 105 breakpoint on this build for fluidity of movement. That'd be nice to use, but this has no pierce, so we have to use pierce on the arrows or the bolts. So keep in mind that we did what we could, you know, in terms of what we spawn on the beta. So this build's a little scuffed, but in general, I think you guys will get the right idea. So that's That's all that really matters, at least to me, for the most part. You guys will get some kind of idea. I mean, you might even have to use like fire faceted G skull or something. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities for things that are pretty scuffed here, but otherwise, pretty good. That being said, we've got those stats. Res is really good. Let's go over some more. Definitely going to want fire pierce on this and a lot of percent fire damage. Now, we do have a bit of pre-buff, so if that triggers you, you might not like this build. There's going to be a decent number of builds that have a little bit of pre-buff that I'm showcasing this season because I don't think it's excessive, one. And two, they're really neat builds that are based on changes in the season that have made them viable. So, definitely show those off. Cast rate, I'd prefer the 105 breakpoint, but very impossible to do without corruptions while also hitting your 100% pierce. We got 98, that's pretty close. I think 98 is acceptable here. You want your 100% pierce, you definitely need that very high pierce, or almost 100 or 100%, so that you're piercing through as many things as possible. And then you've got decent FHR, so when you get hit, you don't get wrecked. So FHR is decent. Sorc has bad FHR frames, so having 0 is really bad. Faster cast rate, 63 is okay. And then you've got some other things. Now, mana per kill, life per kill would be a lot better, so it'd be really nice to have. Don't really have those things. We have a bit of life leech, which might help us a tiny bit, but not much. Mana leech could also maybe help a tiny bit, but not much. And there you have it. All right, we got skills. So, got to get rid of that teleport debuff as much as possible. It's easier to do on lightning builds, but you can max it out, of course, because otherwise you don't do as much damage. And then you get, of course, 1 point of chilling armor for some extra defense and otherwise. Synergizes pretty well with the Mercenary as well. Some Defiance aura, so yeah, at least have some defense, which is really, really good. And then we have 1 point we got max warmth and enchant fire and max fire mastery. So that is so you're maxing out the enchant fire. This is going all in on the enchant fire approach. You could even hybridize it and go cold, but then you don't have this, and you don't have max ES. Energy shield is really good quality of life, particularly when your res isn't great. And honestly, you don't have a shield, and this build's a little squishy without it. So getting that max fully synergized energy shield with the percent damage taken for mana as low as possible. Really good on this particular build. Really just allows you to plow through the monsters with impunity. And yeah, get all the damage there. Warmth gives you attack rating and mana regen, so that's really good for energy shield. Getting that damage redirected to your mana and not touching you as often. Alright. Mercenary. This is a Defiance Mercenary. You could go attack Blessed Aim for more attack rating. However, I think our attack rating is probably fine given that we have Conviction. So Conviction will lower all the monster defense. So we should be pretty good in that department. But you could go Blessed Aim. I do like Defiance for a bit more defense though and damage reduction. So that'll help us out a little bit. You could go kind of either one. Just make sure you have some kind of infinity for that negative 34% to enemy negative fire res. Very good. And the rest of his gear is mostly just stuff to keep him alive, maybe do a little bit of extra damage, life leech, damage reduction, resistances, attack speed, things of that nature. And then, of course, Flickering Flame, which is more damage. So this flat percent fire damage, once again, all of that will apply to your enchant, including on the Ormus and Kira's, including the Pierce and everywhere else. And of course, like I said, you could use Giant Skull for like Pierce and then also have like Fire Facets and that. There's a lot of different ways you could get Pierce on the closed beta even without corruptions, so We make do trying to hit our decent breakpoints here. Faster cast rate, pierce 100%, making sure our attack speed is maxed, which, you know, that's pretty easy to do. On Demon Machine just needs 7 attack speed, even without Fanaticism. That's really the key, so you can have that Conviction aura, so you always hit, and you have the really big extra pierce on top of that. So that's good stuff. And then you also have the Demon Machine. The Demon Machine has 5 fire facets in it. So it is fully loaded and ready to go. Also gives you a ton of attack rating, so definitely helps. And then the key stat is fires explosive bolts or arrows. Our main attack is actually normal attack that just does that. Just pierces through things and it kills everything. That is it. That is why we need this. You could also use Kuko Shakaku, but it doesn't reanimate as Demon Imp. It doesn't have mana. Kuko Shakaku is a bit more janky, I'd say. It doesn't have attack rating. And also, it's a lot slower of a bow. So if you use that, then you have to use Fanaticism on the Mercenary, or you have to get a lot of attack speed on your gear, which is just another breakpoint that you would have to hit. So it's just pretty tough. This is why Demon Machine is really good. Yeah, you could use Kuko for leveling. Yeah, it's like a pretty good leveling bow for sure. Anyway, we got Ormus Robes. We're just going with the % fire damage fun here. Let's get a really high % one to stuff it full of fire facets. And I have Kira's on this version of it. When I tested, I used either Kira's or G-Skull with fire facets. Either way, gonna need that pierce to negative cold res, but this gives us good res, so that's good. New Cat's Eye in Season 12 has pierce. Thank goodness, because otherwise, without corruptions on the beta, you'd be toast. Getting these 100% pierce builds, it would be really tough. So, not only that, it gives you a lot of dex too, so that helps with the attack rating. Really good stuff, and also gives you just some bonus attack speed. We get some pierce arrows with 2 sockets. If you guys don't know, bolts and arrows now have 3. Yeah, they can be normal, exceptional, or elite, so they have 3 tiers, just like every type of item. They can be upgraded as shields, and they can be socketed as if they were shields. And you can put fire facets in them, so that's honestly another thing that's really making this build pop off even more. It's also why Cold Enchant Sorc is really strong now as well. Got Call to Arms and Lidless, of course, but you can see why this or Bannerlord's Call, if you get more corruptions, this would give you 2 more skills, so that'd be pretty sick. Help you with like teleport and whatnot as well. Be really cool. You got Treads of Thawne for Pierce, you got Razor Tail for Pierce, got this for some faster cast rate to hit that breakpoint, same thing with this, and then plus skills. So we got a little bit of pre-buff, but we're going to use our fire GCs, so we're not getting rid of those. Another interesting feature of the new season that really makes these difficult breakpoint builds round out sometimes is faster cast rate on the large charm. So we got faster cast rate and attack speed large charms now. That's really cool. And in the end game, that means you can put 1 under the torch and you don't lose any damage. So put 1 under the torch. We got 63 cast rate. Perfect. Got fire GCs, life, and all res. Small charms and an Annie. So very cool. Lots of interesting things going on here. Lots of Season 12-y things going on with this build, particularly with the buffs to enchant. Also, missiles being able to pierce a maximum number of 10 targets now also really makes this pop. There's a lot of things in the patch notes that just make this really strong. So, well, of course, show it off here. So, I'm gonna demo this sucker right now. We got all these pre-buffs too, so plus skills, % fire damage, all work, of course. So we're gonna do that. And Gonna get pretty high level there. Pretty good. Actually, don't. We're missing something. Okay, well, anyway. That's really good. Swap them back. Think we swapped them all back. Okay. Wrong ring, I guess. Stone of Jordan gives us more mana for energy shield, so rather have that than the BK ring if possible. Alright, 63 setup. Let's go demo her in a Blood Moon. So you can see from her damage here, we got 16,000 damage.
No!
That's a lot of damage. Is this build max ES? Yes it is. So we got very strong ES. I have 81 actually, so it's really good. That's why we dumped everything into energy as well. Good question from the chat here. And we got some support coming in from the chat. Lucky Luke, Xanify, Mirage. Hopefully you're having a great day, Lucky Luke. Lucky Luke is the beast. Let's go. All right. Here you go. Let's check it out. Whoa. Look at this. And see, just imagine, chat. Imagine this, but with 105 FCR, you know, more plus skills, better breakpoints, because it's not being tested on. For the most part, though, we tell you to test things at the highest level possible in every build in beta. You can't get static on the Ormus, no. Can't get enchants on the Ormuses either. Not anymore. If so, I would definitely be using that, so. Look at this plowage. Boom. Got all that projectile pierce too. Like I said, you could get more pierce too. With the right corruptions, you could definitely optimize more. Kinda don't need it though, right? 98% pierce is plenty. 100% would be nice too, but can't fully optimize everything. Look at that exploding arrow, bro. Look at that boss just get absolutely ripped to shreds. Piercing through it twice. Fire Mastery, like double dipping, basically. It's really sick. Wearing the new cat's eye for the pierce. Alright, let's go test another map. I mean, cows is always convincing, but, you know, this is lidless, by the way, with fire facets in it, so that's why I have that on the base swap. And have some more fun stuff going on there. Like, well, level 81 ES, so that's pretty cool. You can always pre-buff that more too, but I don't like excessive pre-buff. I'm not a fan. So we avoid that and we chill. Something to note. Can also get cold enchant too. So we have 10,000 attack rating with cold enchant and fire enchant. So we're actually good to go. We're way good to go. These things are fire immune. It's okay. This is a funky looking exploding arrow zone, right? And so you'll notice that it has the new little explodey things that the exploding arrow on the Amazon has too. Which is like extra damage. I think this is a lot stronger than Amazon Exploding Arrow, which is why I chose to showcase this instead. So this is with the new Exploding Arrow as well. So there's a lot of things going on with this skill that are new in Season 12. Definitely had to make a video on this one. Show you guys all the power of the mechanics. A lot of new items. A lot of stuff going on in general. Flat damage crushing. Some random hydras uncast. Nice. Those are pretty dang tanky with max ES, which is why we did that. Still had to juve that there. Sometimes things hit really hard in Flidathon.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
Also, you actually get some multi-shots too with the enchant coming out of the demon machine just for good measure. Which I think also have the full extent of your damage too. So that's really cool. 10% chance, but still, as it pierces. Boom, boom, baby, boom. Presage. Let's go. And of course... No, it's a lot of bug fixes to, like, enchant and exploding arrow change, plus, like, the new arrow changes. A lot of things kind of all together made this build a lot better, and then obviously a lot easier to test as well. Things like FCR Large Charm, Cat's Eye. That's why this is a build again, so if anyone's confused as to like why this is a thing in Season 12, this is what. You're like, wow, this is pretty cool. Yeah, she puts up some pretty sick numbers too. But yeah, it's fun. Actually, what's the damage with or without this? And see, you can get a lot better enchant buff items. You can get like a +3 helm with 3 sockets. You can definitely get like a +4 AME. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can get, right? Yeah, you can get +5 AME with Desecration, so... I mean, you could get some pretty cool pre-buff, right? I think so. Oh, these are all tier 3 maps, like we're just ripping. Ultimate power. This is what happens when you give a Sorc a Glock right here. Or a Magnum. There you go, baby. Blasting them straight mansion, literally. Alright. And see, notice that LPK and MPK would be amazing here. It's a lot of potential for corruptions to help us out a lot here, for sure. It's sustained really well, so we could, but on the beta it's kind of hard to show, or impossible. Otherwise you have to give up some other stats that are absolutely necessary to the damage dealing nature of the build. Here's the Pierce, rest in pepperonis.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
Can't pierce through the monsters. It doesn't look like this, I'll tell you that much. Alright. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this mini guide and demo. Once again, I'll see you guys on November 28th, 10 a.m. PT. Hopefully you guys are super hyped for this super insane build. I know I am. Pretty awesome stuff. Anyway, remember to check out, of course, all of my mini guides and demos from Season 10 onwards on the YouTube here. We got tons of them for tons of builds. Probably have your favorite build in there to work towards for the next season. And hopefully you enjoyed this very Season 12 build right here. Cooked up from the Mad Lab. See you guys, of course, next time. Derek Humility, over and out. Let's get it.